This is Seawolves. Storm or not.
Hello and welcome back to Seawolves Storm or Not. I'm Jake BASILE. Today marks our first day back from spring break and we couldn't be happier to share it with all of you. But first, let me remind you that this is a joint production between students of the School of Communication and Journalism and their friends at the School of Marine and Atmospheric Sciences. Today, we have some good news for you, and all you need to do is step outside to see it. And that's where we'll find our man, DESHAUN Robinson. DESHAUN?
Yes, Jake, today's such a beautiful day. The sun is shining brilliantly, the birds are chirping the melodious tune, and as you can see with this cherry blossom tree, the flowers have started to bloom as we kicked off the spring season. Most importantly, the Seawolves are back on campus after a relaxing spring break. Now today, these beautiful conditions will persist as high pressure will remain dominant. High temperature will climb to 58 degrees with calm winds blowing from the west. So for those of you who are watching this, enjoy the beautiful weather. Back to you at the desk, Jake.
Thank you, DESHAUN. And now we unfortunately go to the very bad news that keeps on getting worse. Overnight in Kyiv and Inferno, Russians targeted this shopping center overnight, killing at least 6. By morning, the devastation looks nearly total. But it's in Mariupol where the horrific scale of Vladimir Putin's war on Ukraine is laid bare. This once thriving southern seaport, which houses nearly 500,000, is now a wasteland. For civilians, the violence has been catastrophic. There are now so many bodies, leaving volunteers with little choice but to bury them wherever, including the side of the road. But it's in Mariupol's basements where the living remain. The fall of this city would be a significant victory for Vladimir Putin's campaign. It would allow Russian forces stationed in southern Ukraine to link with the soldiers of the East. But at what cost? Children like Artem, just 2, has shrapnel wounds in his stomach. More children are being evacuated, and unfortunately, there's more of this to come. Seeing this all on our media is hard to believe, and this is the first war I've ever seen, and boy, we're seeing a lot. But not everything. So joining me to offer some context and perspective is our very own IVANYUK, who's from Ukraine. And where exactly are you from?
Thank you, Jake. I'm from Chernivtsi. This is western part of Ukraine, as you can see on the map. It's not far away from Moldova.
And what are some perspectives that you think we need to understand?
Yes, there are a lot of them. Well, as you know, my home region has not been bombarded. I talk to my relatives there frequently, and they are pretty freaked out too. Everyone knows somebody who's been made homeless. We all know that Russian missiles strike our civilian buildings, hospitals, schools. Kids are being killed on purpose, as well as adults. This is lawless war. And I want to mention things that news don't cover very much. Russian soldiers are raping Ukrainian women. It's mostly in the villages and are not many news crews out in the countryside, but believe me, it is happening. Kids are being traumatized as their parents killed in front of them. Many of them are witnessing horrific violence, have or will lose loved ones, are watching their homes and cities destroyed. The quarter of Ukrainian population has been unrooted, and experts say it will get even worse. And that's why I believe NATO has to close the sky over Ukraine now to stop this genocide.
Thank you, IRYNA, for the depressing but realistic insights. There'll be more later this week on Wednesday, where the Marie Colvin Center for International Reporting is holding a teach-in entitled War, Russia Invades Ukraine. This will be at Frey Hall, room 100, from 1 to 2:30. That'll be on my to-do list this week, along with watching March Madness. So our sports host, Heath Kalb, will not be talking about the NCAA tournament, but a more local focus. Here he is.
Thanks, Jake. Our women's basketball team was invited to the NIT tournament. And over spring break, they traveled down to Richmond, Virginia to face Virginia Commonwealth University. The Seawolves battled tough, but had their season come to an end with a 56-48 defeat. Nevertheless, by any measure, they had a really successful season, going 23-6. Our spring sports are proving their ability, with both softball and baseball coming off a sweep this week. Men's lacrosse is still receiving votes to be in the top 25, and our women are 6th in the nation, which, if you ask me, is pretty good. Back to you, Jake.
Thank you, Heath. I'm not a big baseball fan, hockey is my favorite, but I am excited about the nationally ranked women's lacrosse team, which is a little like hockey except maybe warmer and not quite as fast. And now for some fast insight into this week's weather, here's Chris Cumella.
Thanks, Jake. Well, as many of you in the area may have felt this past week, spring is in full throttle as we temporarily bid adieu to those chilly days and nights. Starting with Monday, as DESHAUN mentioned earlier, temperatures are treating us kindly today, so you can keep a jacket close by, but don't be afraid to soak up a little bit of sun. Tuesday, it looks like we're going to be seeing another beautiful day. Lows hitting the 40s, but still keeping it true to spring weather as we see highs in the 50s. Followed up by Wednesday, you'll see a slight chance of rain in the late afternoon, going to pick up the pace a little around 8 p.m. Great chance to bunker down with a good book or movie. And then we are followed by the rest of the week. Thursday up to Sunday, we are going to see lows hanging around the 40s. Followed by Friday, we're starting to see some clouds and potentially a little bit of clear up with temperatures highs in the 59s and lows in 43. Now we're going to see this weekend looking pretty decent around light layers. You can expect to take out one jacket at least, but we're going to keep it around the 50s and still have lows of 40s for the rest of this week. Back to you, Jake.
Thanks, Chris. This is the 8th week of the semester, so for my fellow seniors, this is the big push towards commencement. 6 more weeks of classes, which is so mind-boggling. My freshman self wouldn't believe how fast these 4 years went by. And I might not believe that in my senior year of college, I'm watching a major war envelop the homeland of my friend IRYNA and 44 million Ukrainians. Make sure you attend the teach-in on Wednesday afternoon during campus lifetime, and we'll see you back next week for another edition of Seawolves Storm or Not. I'm Jake BASILE.